Great. I'm great. It's amazing to be here.
I can't believe it.
It's so funny. Well, since COVID, I think I've only been back once in 3 years.
Everything.
So we've been doing our shows remotely, which has worked out perfectly. But there's nothing quite like being here, and especially because I've been here for almost 30 years. So it's just fantastic being back.
Well, it feels surreal to me, I have to say. And I know so many of your fans and followers just are excited about tonight. Andrew, 27 years and 3 Mega Today specials, starting with CoQ10.
And CoQ10 is I think it was our biggest, when we introduced it, our biggest Today special at that time. And it was quite the surprise. CoQ10 wasn't really popular out in the world. You have to turn the clock back to remember more than 25 years ago. But at that time, CoQ10 was something that the folks who make and created CoQ10, the first natural CoQ10, they were very grateful that someone actually was taking the time to educate about this incredibly important ingredient. And if we had the video that I did from back then, it would be fun if we could get our hands on it.
I'd love that.
That's when I had said that one day, other companies will adopt it. One day, you'll see it on store shelves, because so many of the products that I've introduced here, it took 5, 10, 15, 20 years, like glucosamine and chondroitin, to eventually see them on store shelves. CoQ10 is the perfect example. I first offered it back in 1984.
Wow.
So that makes it almost 40 years ago was my first CoQ10 formula. And then it was adopted probably about 20 years ago. It started being adopted and you started seeing it at retail. But if you want the best CoQ10, and my formula has evolved. Our original formula was just CoQ10. But then we realized if you look at how CoQ10 works in your body, you can't deliver it without the cofactors, without the other nutrients that bring it to life. It's sort of if you have a really important job in life, you can't do it on your own. In fact, the more important your job is, the more you need people to assist you. And with CoQ10, that's a perfect description. Without all of the assistance of these other ingredients, its benefits are really not going to be experienced. And the investment you make, even though another thing, the investment on CoQ10, a capsule like this used to be about $4 a capsule. It would be per 200, or at least $2 a capsule, $1 per 100 milligrams. So today, it's less than 30 cents a capsule. And since the original CoQ10, we've added vitamin C to each capsule, a full B-complex to each capsule, and now your choice of vitamin D. If you want the original CoQ10, you get that. If you want a version with 1,000 or 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 added, you can get that. They all are the same price. So if you just look at the cost of the vitamin C and the vitamin D, or the vitamin D and the B12, if you just look at 2 of the ancillary ingredients that we provide for free, they cost more than just look at the vitamin D there. The vitamin D alone at its regular HSN price for almost 500 capsules would be about $93. Yep. Today with CoQ10 is $139.90, but mind you, you're getting 100 micrograms of B12, you're getting 300 milligrams of vitamin C, a separate vitamin C, so you're getting a separate vitamin C, a separate B12, a separate vitamin D, a separate full B-complex, all in one capsule with your CoQ10. So it makes this critically important ingredient, without which, I mean, it's the most intelligent energy product in the world. Even though it's not sold as an energy product, it is the most intelligent energy product in the world, because when you look at your 38 trillion cells, the most critical limiting factor in energy production isn't fuel. We all have tons of calories in or on our body. It's the machinery for making that energy, and CoQ10 is that ingredient that as we age, if we take medications, depending on how we eat, if we drink alcohol, if we smoke, whatever it might be, all these things, just simple aging, are an assault on our ability to produce the energy. So it's no wonder that one of the most common things we complain about when we go to the doctor, it's fatigue. One of the most common complaints of aging, fatigue. One of those common complaints of medications we take, fatigue. It's kind of the human experience, but I choose to not necessarily embrace all of the experiences that are aging. And when it comes to CoQ10, it really gives us an opportunity to hold on to those youthful characteristics that we really want to retain.
Well, Andrew knows I don't go a day without my CoQ10.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk of fatigue. Fatigue is what drags us down. And so often we reach for the sugary drinks, we reach for the caffeine, we reach for the energy drinks, the highs and then the big lows. This is common sense energy. And it does it in a way that is sustainable for us to enjoy the benefits. Price-wise for the today's special, I mean, really extraordinary. Here's the chart as you can see it, a 30 down to 480. That's the special size that's only available today. Normally $399.90, today $139.90. Again, saving more than you're spending.
But, oh, by the way, that $139.90, last year we had an incredibly exciting today's special for CoQ10.
Yeah.
The pricing, that was amazing pricing last year for that large size was $199.90. So today it's $139.90. The 240, I believe, was $139.90.
This is a huge
today
difference.
Oh yeah, so this is, I mean, this is the lowest cost per capsule. I should have said this to start. This is the lowest cost per capsule that we've ever had for our CoQ10. So the large size of our CoQ10, to be this affordable, when I was breaking down the ingredients, for it to be this affordable, that you're getting, just to buy separate vitamin C with, say, vitamin D, would cost more than the cost of the product today. So the CoQ10, again, we've been doing CoQ10 for almost 40 years. So the relationships we have, the experience we have, it has enabled us to do something really remarkable today. And I just want to show everyone what makes it different. And first of all, that bright yellow color is the natural color of CoQ10. It's an ultrafine powder in a capsule. You can see even just the breeze in the studio is making it move. So it's like, as it goes, it's like dust. So again, you don't have to worry about rock hard tablets. If you're getting your CoQ10 in a gummy, gummies are one of the most, I just find the whole concept of gummy offensive. A gummy is a candy that isn't made any better by adding a nutrient to it. In fact, there used to be a kind of a position when it's basically called the gummy, what was it called? The jelly bean rule. So it should be called the gummy rule. But the jelly bean rule was an old rule that in Food and Drug Law they used to talk about, that if you had a jelly bean and you simply put a little vitamin D or CoQ10 in it, it didn't make it not a candy. It was still a candy. So you can't simply take an ingredient and put 15, say it might be 15 calories, 30 calories of sugar into that, call it a gummy, and it's magically healthy. Most of us are doing our best to reduce our caloric intake. And if you get even 50 or 100 calories in gummies a day, that could be 5 or 10% of your entire caloric intake.
Adds up.
Or it adds up in terms of weight gain. So this is pure. It will never upset your stomach. It's designed, that ultrafine powder is designed to go into solution instantly. So it's readily available for absorption. It's the perfect way to deliver nutrients in their purest form. No one else makes capsules the way we do, with no additives in the capsule. The only thing in that formula is the vitamin D you want, the B12 you want, the full B-complex you want, the vitamin C you want, and most importantly, the CoQ10 you want. Nothing else. No additives, no binders, no fillers, no lubricants, no colors, no nothing.
It's only the good stuff. It's what you want to feel good about when you're taking something like this. I want to highlight, just for everybody watching, Andrew said at the beginning, you can choose the Coenzyme Q10 by itself, or you can choose it blended with vitamin D3, 1000 or 2000 IU. It's important to understand there is no extra charge for the ones blended with vitamin D3. So if I show you the pricing chart, this first chart was for the CoQ10. If you look, for example, at the 480, remember the if purchased separately is where the regular price, rather, is $399. Today it's $139. Now here's the pricing with 1000 IU of vitamin D. Normally would be $489, still only paying $139. The most popular choice is this, which is the 2000 IU of vitamin D. That would run at nearly $500. We're at $139.90. That saves you a whopping $353. What's fascinating, Andrew, is that out of the 5,000 orders that are already placed, over 85% of them are in the vitamin D blend 2000 IU.
Right, and I think almost, I say 60, 70% of the large size. So the large size is such an incredible value. But even, I mean, even the next to large size is today, we've never had pricing like this for CoQ10. So despite the fact that CoQ10 has become more comprehensive, we've added other ingredients over the decades, not just over the years, it's still the best pricing we've ever had. And that's, I mean, when we look at how pricing has gone crazy, I go into a supermarket, and I might not go into a supermarket a ton, but I just look at produce and fruits, and it's like sticker shock that you could look at a small thing of berries, and depending on what time of year it is, and where they come from, it could be $8, $10, $12 for a small thing of fruit. So food is expensive, and it's nice that an ingredient like this that used to be extremely expensive, that we couldn't even have a 480 capsule supply because it would have been close to $1,000. And if we compared to pricing from even, I'd say, just 15 or 20 years ago, that's probably about where it is. It's probably about $800, $900, $1,000 for the equivalent of what you're getting today. CoQ10 was crazy expensive, but we've been able to continue to make it more and more affordable, such that today, what you're spending today for CoQ10 is what in the past you'd spend for vitamin C or vitamin D. So it's exciting that an ingredient, and if you've watched me before, and even for 30 years, I've talked about how important vitamin D, well, for 44 years, I've talked about how important vitamin D is. CoQ10, in my mind, is right up there with it. And you might say, but CoQ10 isn't truly a vitamin, because vitamin D is a vitamin, but CoQ10 isn't truly a vitamin. No vitamin behaves more like a vitamin than CoQ10. And the one characteristic about CoQ10 that your body can make a small amount of it kind of makes it not a vitamin. But then again, your body can make a small amount of vitamin D if it's exposed to sunlight. But then again, vitamin D is perhaps the most deficient vitamin and insufficient vitamin we encounter. But CoQ10, inescapable, unavoidable, as we age, and we're talking just as we move through our 20s, the levels of CoQ10 available in our body go down dramatically. Again, as I said before, if we drink alcohol, if we smoke cigarettes, if we take virtually any medication, CoQ10 is absolutely reduced if you take a statin drug, if you take a drug to lower cholesterol. The most popular cholesterol-lowering drugs dramatically, substantially lower your levels of CoQ10. And if you take CoQ10, the side effects of those drugs are diminished. So it's something very important to talk to your doctor about. If you take drugs for osteoporosis, drugs called bisphosphonates. If you take drugs for depression, antidepressants. If you take certain drugs for hypertension, in fact, most drugs for hypertension, reduce levels of CoQ10. So the challenges that our body has with medications are also challenges our body will have with CoQ10. And because CoQ10 is absolutely defining, it is a limiting factor in our ability to produce energy, not just in critical cells. Every single cell in your body, there's more than 30 trillion cells in your body. Those cells all require CoQ10 to produce energy. And CoQ10, because it's the brilliant design handed from upstairs, it's not just for energy. When we make energy in our body, there's like fallout, like pollution in our cells from making energy. Guess what's exceptionally good at correcting and dealing with that pollution from energy production? CoQ10. So on one hand, it's essential for all energy production, transferring those electrons. And then at the same time, electrons that could be floating around causing damage, it's exceptional at capturing them and making sure they don't cause damage. So you will not find a more important ingredient that I talk about. As much as I lavish praise on vitamin D and B12 and other ingredients for resveratrol and things like that, CoQ10 doesn't have to take a backseat to any of them, and it's hard to imagine any ingredient that plays a more important role in CoQ10, and unfortunately becomes less and less available as we age.
I won't go a day without it. I mean, I say that sincerely. I often get asked about Andrew's shows and Andrew's items and the supplements, and I'm happy to spend all the time in the world sharing all the information I've learned over the years with Andrew. If you're just tuning in, it's now 27 years of Andrew Lessman on Ages, and not to make him feel old.
No, I mean, I just, when someone asks me, and I'm talking, who doesn't know me especially, I was just in Europe and people will ask me about, well, how long you've been doing it?
Just a while.
And they figure I'll say 5 or 10 or 15 years. And I say, well, 44 years. And they'll say, oh, did you start prenatally? I mean, I certainly don't look like I'm 44 years of age, but I've been doing this forever. And the industry, I'm sort of often described as the last guy that's held on from the companies that were doing it from all the way back in the 1970s and 1980s. That I guess because this has always been a labor of love for me, I never sold my company, despite lots of people wanting to buy it. It would be like selling it my child. Right. So this is what I do. It's what I've always done. And what I enjoy most about what I do is this, where I get to stand up here and provide information and education. We are unique. I always say that, not just unique in the quality of our products, but unique in the fact that we make them. That most vitamins you see on store shelves, most vitamins you see on the internet, they're made by contract manufacturers. In fact, lots of people ask me, would I make vitamins for them? And the answer is no. We only make vitamins for you. It's our brand made in our facilities. So that's something that I'm very proud of. And most importantly, proud of the information. Another question I was asked today when I was at the gym, someone asked me, well, I eat really healthy. I'm sure I get all the CoQ10 I need. And I said, I don't care how you eat, you don't. It's impossible. And this is a chart that kind of, it's a little intimidating when you look at it, but this is a 200 milligram equivalence.
Okay.
So to get to 200 milligrams of CoQ10 in your diet, and these are the best sources. What you'll notice about the first 5 sources, yep. Pork heart, chicken liver, okay. Beef heart, beef liver. Most critical organs in our bodies, our liver never stops working, our heart never stops beating. They're working full time for us. And that is why they have so much CoQ10, because they can't ever stop producing energy or we stop existing.
Right.
But even if all you ate were those organs, you'd still be eating over 2 pounds of pork heart a day to equal 1 capsule. And if we move down to get to more normal things you might eat, like beef shoulder, pork shoulder, a chicken thigh, yeah. Canned tuna, yeah. We start getting into 10, 11, 18, 28 pounds. So to just equal 1 capsule, you're talking about if you had, say, canned tuna, say if you had a quarter pound of canned tuna a day, that's gonna be a lot of mercury, yeah. But that's more than 1 capsule delivering you 100 days of canned tuna. So it's basically, you're talking about fractions of a year of eating these other ingredients to equal what you get in 1 capsule. And that 1 capsule is not arbitrarily high. It's not a megadose. It's the levels that we truly need as we age to replace that which we're losing. And at the same time, to overcome the world we live in and the challenges that lower our CoQ10 levels every single day. So it gives you a sense, and there's just this one other chart here. If you want to actually look at a 4-ounce portion of the best sources in our diet, the best sources of the foods we eat for CoQ10, pork shoulder, a quarter pound, 5 milligrams. You're getting 200 today.
Incredible.
Beef shoulder, a quarter pound, 4.5 milligrams. Say chicken thigh, yeah. A chicken breast or chicken thigh, chicken breast a little bit less. You're talking about just a little over, a chicken breast, just a little over 2 milligrams. Here we go, a little over 1 milligram. A chicken wing, a little over 1 milligram. Salmon, everyone thinks because of the orange color of salmon and the yellow color of CoQ10, people think salmon is a great source of CoQ10. A quarter pound of salmon, less than 1 milligram of CoQ10. So about a capsule would be the equivalent of a year's supply of that salmon.
But that, when you see it like that, it puts it in perspective of how crucial it is, how critical it is. You're getting the finest CoQ10 product in the world. There is no more evolved CoQ10 that exists in terms of all that this contains within it, the finest, the best, the purest, the greatest, none of the fillers or the binders or the additives. And for Andrew's 27th anniversary, it's the biggest value, the best pricing we do all year long. We are slammed with a lot of people ordering. Over 6,200 out of the door just like that. Maybe to make it a little easier for you, I'll tell you what most people are ordering. You can do CoQ10 by itself or do CoQ10 blended with vitamin D3 at no extra cost. I know that sounds crazy. It's like, well, not like, you are getting the vitamin D3 for free. It comes in 1,000 IU or 2,000 IU. Most people are ordering 480 capsules of CoQ10 with 2,000 vitamin D3. Normal price is $493. If you order it today for Andrew's 27th anniversary, it's $139.90. It saves you $353. It's not a tiny saving. It is a massive saving on a product that, whether you are crazy busy, running around after the kids, at work, family, life gets you down, that key word that Andrew used earlier, fatigue. Fatigue is terrible. It puts the brakes on everything. This is a common sense energy product, but at the same time as it being a common sense energy product, it's an immune product, it's an every system in the body product. Andrew, it's crucial to consider it.
Well, it's crucial to our existence. Without CoQ10, the cells in our body can't produce energy. And it's weird to think about it this way. When we all think about the sort of complexity of our life or the richness of our life, but our energy, the energy we experience, there's over 30 trillion cells in our body. That's a big number. A million is a big number, a billion is 1,000 million, and a trillion is 1,000 billion. So 30 plus trillion cells in our body. Every single cell in our body, the way they produce energy. No other cell can rely on its neighbor to produce energy. Sort of a weird system, the way we're designed that way, that every single cell is independently responsible for its own energy. So when you start there and you realize that all of that energy requires CoQ10, and why? CoQ10 is not fuel. We're not burning CoQ10 to produce energy. What does CoQ10 do? It moves electrons. What is the energy we experience? It's moving electrons. There are lights in the studio here. The reason why those lights are powered is because electrons move. It's that movement of electrical potential. So inside our cells, and I know it's weird, the only reason you're existing and alive is because electrons are moving within the cells. And those electrons, the movement of electrical potential in the mitochondria of your cells, and the movement of electrons by CoQ10 and other ingredients in the cells, specifically and most importantly CoQ10, that's the life we experience. That's the energy that is life. And without that energy, without the movement of electrons, our life it doesn't exist at all, or it's certainly compromised. And that's one of the most specific kind of hallmarks or symptoms of the aging process, is that change in energy. I just put some charts here. And we have so much fun research. Maybe research is fun to me, but it always has been. But this is from a journal called Current Neurovascular Research. And so much research on CoQ10 has to do with cardiovascular health, brain and neurologic health. But it was reported that animals supplemented on CoQ10 may reach a significantly longer mean lifespan, 11.7% higher. Mean roughly means average lifespan. A significantly higher maximum lifespan, 24%, and increased learning capacity than non-supplemented animals, suggesting that long-term supplementation with a small dosage of CoQ10 may represent a good anti-aging therapy.
Wow.
That sort of says to me, not a good anti-aging strategy, but a rather exciting and great anti-aging strategy. From critical reviews in food science and nutrition, the intracellular biosynthesis, meaning that the creation of CoQ10 in your body, begins through a cascade of amino acid precursors, which indispensably require 8 vitamins. So not only do we give you CoQ10, but we also give you the 8 vitamins that are required to maximize, optimize your own factories, your own production of CoQ10, vitamin B6, vitamin C, vitamin B2, B12, folic acid, niacin, pantothenic acid. We give you all of those, because not only are they necessary to make CoQ10, but part of the process of energy production, they're also indispensable. From Medical Science Monitor, studies were shown to reduce statins. Statin drugs are the drugs that lower cholesterol. That same language could apply to other classes of drugs, as I said before, drugs for osteoporosis, drugs for depression, drugs for hypertension, high blood pressure. Statins were shown to reduce serum plasma levels of CoQ10 by 16 to 54%. And CoQ10 supplementation was reported to increase the levels of CoQ10 in plasma. So it's the simple response. Just a couple of reviews before we run along. Best CoQ10 on the market. I've known of the benefits of CoQ10 since the early 90s. In fact, I've been taking this supplement since my 30s, but Andrew Lessman's CoQ10 is the best and the purest it is. It is worth every single penny. The energy I get from this product supersedes the previous ones I was taking. I take it every single day. I definitely recommend this product. Invest in your health and well-being. We all should. Thank you, Andrew, for making products of the highest quality and fine ingredients. And today, in 40 years roughly of making CoQ10, it's never been more affordable, ever. Not even 30, 35 years ago, it was much more expensive. Fabulous, you will love it. in the past, I'd taken CoQ10 200. It really made a huge difference. Then I stopped taking so many supplements due to the cost. It was not a good savings. As soon as I started taking good vitamin supplements again, I felt so much better, more alert, and more healthy again. I'm 75 years old, and I'm always told I look like I'm 60. Not just the skin, it's the overall energy and image of health and well-being. CoQ10 200 seems to make everything work better. I'll always continue it. Jan in Michigan, and we'll do, we have a couple more. I love the reviews.
I do.
Simply awesome, the Bentley of supplements. I'm a British car there. Here we go.
Good taste.
I'm an avid follower of Andrew Lessman's vitamins and supplements. I decided to take as part of my regimen CoQ10 and vitamin D. I know that I could only trust Andrew Lessman for providing me with the right formula. Well, the rest is history. CoQ10 200 has truly been a blessing in supporting my energy level. My blood pressure is healthy, and I thank you from Spence in Florida. That reminds me, one more thing before we run along. I think the only ingredient I make where we actually can talk about it in terms of blood pressure, blood sugar, blood cholesterol, lipid levels, that it actually supports all of those and helps us keep those in the normal healthy range is CoQ10. And that's because of its influence on virtually every system in our body.
Best in the world. There's nothing that even comes close to it. And folks, just so you know, 4,350 reviews, 3,650 of them are perfect 5 stars. Thank you for all your orders. The vast majority of people are ordering 480 capsules with the blended vitamin D3. Andrew, it's free.
Well, depending on how you look at the formula, you're getting a whole bunch of free things. If you look at last year, $199 was the price of the 139 size. So an incredible savings versus last year, and last year's pricing was incredible. So this year is truly something special. If you look at the levels of vitamin D, if you look at the levels of B12 and vitamin C, that alone would justify the investment in CoQ10. So it's a great way to experience the benefits of all of those ingredients and do it and when you think it and break it down, in the large size, it's a bit over 30 cents a capsule. Yeah. So if you look at it and you're getting a full B-complex, a high-potency vitamin C, our special non-acidic vitamin C, our special high-potency B12, natural B12, and you're getting CoQ10. So if you divide it up among 4 or 5 things, it ends up being about 6 or 7 cents per thing, so it gets really affordable.
Invest in yourself. Honestly, you'll see and feel the benefits so quickly. And the one thing, and we'll head over this way as we walk and talk, but guys, just so you know, when you order this today,